Hey guys, it's me, Gimpy, and
Gimpy's gal. Hello.
And I'll tell you what, I was actually getting ready to film some games. I've got one set up right down here. And while I was setting up, me and Gimpy's gal here were just having a conversation about some different things, and we kept talking about it, and we kept talking about it, and it kept distracting me, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to take and put this on camera and just, let our opinion out there. And it's not something that I wanted to take and actually address. It's not something that I've wanted to get into. I've hoped beyond hope that it would stay out of my gaming scene and just let us enjoy our games. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen, and especially after something that I saw today that I was talking to Mrs. Gimpy's gal about that just blew my mind that someone would actually say that. It's got to be addressed, and it's the issue of social justice in board gaming. And it's come up in all different other types of gaming. It was in video games real big there a few years back, and it still is now. And it's started to push into a plethora of different types of games. It doesn't matter what it is, Magic the Gathering or tabletop wargaming, and now it's starting to hit board gaming. We've seen some issues pop up at Gen Con, and now certain guest speakers coming to... issues popped up at Origins, and now certain speakers are coming to Gen Con, and it's like, I don't want this in the board gaming scene. The one thing about gaming has always been that it's the one thing that's very inclusive to everyone. That's what Mrs. Gimpy and I were talking about, was the fact that people don't get excluded, and for the most part, you don't get harassed. Girls aren't getting harassed that I know of. And I saw an article talking about, it was basically generalizing men as far as gamers were concerned as these big harassers. It was
taking someone's experience and making it everyone's experience. And that's why I was in the conversation, because I've been around gaming for a while, and speaking on just my videos, my unboxing videos, I've never played the games. I still don't have a clue
what I'm doing. Some games.
I've never played any war games.
You haven't played war games.
And I have no clue still to this day about anything to do with those. But I've been around gamers in different, whether it's a game night at local game stores or just in and out of local game stores. I've obviously been around a lot of video games. I used to go to our local GameStop before we had any game stores, like board game stores near us. We weren't huge into them because there weren't many stores around us, but there was a GameStop, a lot of them near us, and I used to go in there without him for birthdays and anniversaries and ask for help, and always got help, never felt uncomfortable. And it's been the same thing as we've transitioned, or I've transitioned.
Yeah, you had a boyfriend in there.
Yeah, into being into more game stores. I have never, and it's been 10 years that I have been around Gimpy, and by association been to different things like what is that thing called? Nerdathlon or something?
Nerdathlon.
There's this thing that his brother, he has a twin brother, I'm sure he's mentioned before, and his group of friends have this day where it's the Nerd Olympics, and it's every game under the sun you could think of, and it's it started small at someone's house, and then it's moved to bigger locations, and it's just a whole day, and it's nothing but guys and girls who play games, and it's an entire day of drinking and gaming and having fun. It's a family event. But I went when I was pregnant. I brought Bradley. I went before I was pregnant and just had Bradley, and I've never, ever, ever felt uncomfortable. I've seen other women. My sister-in-law has been to it and participated in it. I never played. I just went to support him. I've seen other wives, other girls, some girls that come just on their own, and I have never seen any of them treated anything but the same. I get guys are going to have their conversations when girls are around. There's banter. There's, locker room talk that happens. But that's never happened when I've been around, and it's never, even making my videos on his channel, I've never had any comments where I have been objectified or harassed or anything but welcomed by this specific community, the wargaming community. So to see someone taking and saying that this is an epidemic in this tiny little genre, it's really frustrating to me, just because that's not what it is. I wish that when people make these broad spectrum statements of like, everyone in this industry is a sexist, this and that, well, reference when did this happen to you? And if it's happening, then yes, talk about it. We're not here to say that, it's not happening or that they should be shamed of speaking about it.
Or that it's never happened.
Yeah, if it happened, speak up. And if it happened to me, I would speak up. Gimpy would speak up. But
Gimpy would lash out.
Exactly. But my point is that we're not here to say like, oh, it doesn't happen. It's never happened. But in my experience in 10 years, I have yet to see it happen. So it isn't fair for one side to be so loud and proud and screaming about, whatever,
objectifying women,
about
or being
accusing
excluded.
a whole entire group of people of doing something because they had one experience, or maybe they did have multiple experiences. But that isn't this genre as a whole. That is your group. That is the group that you were in, and that needs to be reevaluated and fixed. Not the entire, genre, not the entire hobby as a whole needs to be taken down to the ground and burned at the stakes. Like, I just don't agree with it. And it gets me really frustrated because I've seen how much time and energy my husband has put into this, how much this means to him. And obviously it means a lot to me too, because he is my husband. And I am one of those people, we are that couple who tries to take interest in each other's hobbies. And I will try. Have not succeeded because I am definitely still not, this just is not my thing. But I do things to support him just like he has done things to support me and my hobbies. So to see something that he does care a lot about, even though people may say it's just a silly war games, like what's the big deal? You haven't seen how much time and energy, and especially for someone who does have a brain injury, that has to put into all of this. So to see someone come after that for something that, I'm a woman, so I can speak on it. I can speak on it, on my experience with it. It frustrates me. And so we were talking about that. And
the thing that really got me, all right, was earlier today I was looking on Facebook, and I'm always perusing the different groups and seeing what people are talking about. And it really bothered me that I saw this post talking about some racist incident at a game store, and someone claiming that someone had put up a note saying that the race of the owner of the store wasn't welcome there.
Kind of like a get out of town, we don't want you here type of thing.
And people were talking about it, but what bothered me is that the moderator of the group, which has a lot of members, it was a board game group, very specifically said that the group didn't support free speech and they didn't support anyone asking questions. And if you were going to do that, then you could just go somewhere else. And it's like, you don't support free speech? Did you forget that people have died trying to get free speech and that others have died to grant you freedom speech? So who are you to sit there and take that away from someone? And yeah, I get, look, it's a private group, but...
So technically, yeah, they can do what they want, but...
a disagreement does not mean that it needs to be censored. Just because someone's asking questions. And it's the unfortunate truth in today's world that you can't take things like that with a grain of salt and at face value. You have to think critically and ask, what's really going on behind the scenes. Because
what are your motives? If you're doing that in a group that is about board games, so even though I just said how passionate my husband is and I am about it, it is just board games. Like, it's not life or death. So if you're going to be censoring someone in respect to games, like, what are your true motives?
Well, she wasn't really censoring people as far as the games. She was censoring
but in a group
dissenting opinions. And the thing was this store was getting a massive amount of publicity, free publicity, because of this incident. So the guy has every financial incentive to fake it. And now I'm not saying he did. He might have, he might not have, he might have really got the hate note. It's
not even about whether it's real, fake, happened, didn't happen. We are realists in that we understand whether, it happens as frequently as people say, whatever. We understand that people are sexist, people are racist, people are offensive. There's always going to be a jerk in anything that you do, in anything. I have been insulted and whatever more when doing my makeup stuff than I have in this genre, but there's jerks everywhere. But the point is, it's not about what was being censored or why. To me, and it took me a long time to realize this, when I first married my husband, I was very, very quick when someone would say, I don't agree with the war or I don't support our troops. I was very quick to say, well, you need to take that opinion and shove it because my husband almost died so you could have your opinion, so keep it to yourself. It didn't click with me until my husband, who did almost give his life so these people could have their opinions, said to me, well, but that's why I fought. I mean, that's why we did what we did and why the men before him did what they did. Wasn't just to protect the ones who supported them. It's not just the side that we agree with. It's all of it. So it took me probably up until really recently to be able to respect the fact that if I'm going to support free speech, which I do, that means all speech. Speech that makes me uncomfortable, might offend me, but it's all or nothing. You can't pick and choose what's protected and what's allowed and what's not. It's all or nothing.
Yeah, and she's right about that. And the thing is I've been seeing it creep into board gaming and wargaming specifically over the past so many months about dissenting opinions being squashed or people claiming this is offensive or that's offensive. Look, you cannot regulate the world and get rid of things that you find offensive. Everyone is going to be offended by something that you can't regulate it. But the worst thing that we can do, and I've seen this happen in other hobbies, and I'm sure some of you have as well, where one side starts to take over and they start to squash dissenting opinions and they start getting moderator positions. And I mean, there's other YouTubers videos who've talked about it, guys with, much bigger channels than I have, who have spoken about how their hobby, whatever their hobby might be, whether it's video games or card games, whatever, have started to have that encroachment of social justice to where dissenting opinions are starting to be squashed. They started to get moderator positions and started deleting people's accounts or blocking them if they didn't agree with them. And the end goal of that makes it to where you used to have a bunch of different voices, you've driven off one segment of the voices. And now if developers or publishers go online to see, hey, what the general opinion is, they're only getting one side of it now because the other side has been squashed. And I don't want to see that happen.
No, and the thing is, though, in my opinion, gaming, anything that is a hobby, it isn't this side and that side. It isn't left and right. It isn't social justice versus whatever. No one brings it up. Like, generally speaking, I've yet to come across any comments or anything where it's been brought up. And so I feel like when they come in and then they start bringing it up and then they start, like, no one cares if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're trans, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're whatever you are, whatever country you're from, whatever religion whatever you are, literally a dog could pull up to the table and start playing. And in my experience, no one cares. Like, nobody cares. That's what he means. It's all inclusive. So don't, bring it in and bring it up and have it start being an issue by posting these things in these groups and bringing it up, but then shutting down a huge portion of, a huge part of the opposing side or whatever. Like, you can't bring it up and say, sides. Hey, let's talk about this. I'm going to bring it up in our gaming group. Look what happened. But you can't question it and you can't say anything bad about it or I'm deleting your comment. It's not good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for such a small genre to have people start doing that in their groups. And again, it is a private group. They can do whatever they want. We can disagree or agree about it all day long. We just wanted to give our opinion and we just wanted to give it from a female's point of view, even though I wouldn't say I'm in this industry. I have like my toe in this industry. Yeah. So like, I'll be at the convention, I'll see people, I make videos, and I hope to become more involved as the kids get older and, we get settled in our home and everything. But I've been around it enough to see things and I observe a lot of things, and I just don't feel like some of the things that have been happening recently or have been being stated recently deserve to not be defended. And so I wasn't going to just sit back and have this conversation with my husband off camera without being able to defend it, because if they're going to put it out there and make it such a broad statement, I wanted to be able to give my perspective and my point of view on it and what I've experienced.
Yeah, some people are trying to paint the narrative that gaming in general, or specific types of gaming, whatever hobby it might be, whether it's war gaming or card gaming, that it's exclusionary or it has a lot of harassment in it, which couldn't be further from the truth.
And again, does it happen?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I'm sure there are some dicks somewhere who will not allow a woman or not allow someone who's gay or whatever the case may be in their group. But that is that group. That isn't the entire hobby. Exactly. That is the exception, not the rule.
The exception is, some people are trying to paint the exception out nowadays as the rule, and you can't do that, because honestly, that's offensive to tell me that, you know, all gamers are, you know, violent, misogynistic guys, and, you know, they're hating on women.
Inappropriate pictures and texts, and you feel, you know, scared for your life, and like that's the only experience that you get as a woman in this industry. That's what I don't agree with. I'm not saying that this person or these people don't experience these things, but I just don't think it's to the degree that it's been put out there.
Yeah, you can't paint people with a broad brush on either side of the aisle. You have to look at things critically and think about the impact that it's going to have on this industry, because in the end, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you start insulting guys, right? So you're coming at it and you're telling all the people who have been in this hobby for a while, you're a violent, misogynistic guy, and you're this and you're that. They're not going to welcome you.
They don't want to have then these people, women, whoever, start coming in, because then they're going to be afraid that they're going to be attacked and accused, because any little thing that they do now is going to be construed as them being sexist or exclusionary or whatever it is. Like, it does become this just vicious cycle of, if this is a tactic to get more women into the hobby, this isn't the way to do it, because I wouldn't want to join into this if I'm seeing articles put out and people talking left and right about, oh my gosh, if you're in this hobby, all you're going to be is objectified and harassed, and you're going to have to fear for your life. Then why would I want to, as someone coming new into the hobby, want to continue to join that hobby? So if that is the point of it, then you wouldn't want to paint it as such a broad brush that everyone does it. And instead, if it does happen to you, if you are a victim of it, speak up about it. And if you see it happening, don't just sit by and let it happen. But to the same degree, if you see that it's not happening, don't just sit back and let people say it's happening.
And I have to ask also, when did it become such a crime to have something be mainly guys or mainly women? Everything in the world doesn't have to be equal.
And it isn't that way because women are being told they can't do this. It's because just in, you know, the way we were made, genetically speaking, we have things that we are interested in that are different, that are differing interests. So you can't say, well, I think there should be more women in wargaming. And then it's just going to happen. Like, that's the reason why it is such a male, you know, heavily dominated hobby, is because men are the ones who are interested in it. But to that same argument, the women who are in it, from what I've seen, are very well received, well respected, not treated any differently. In fact, I feel like I was almost welcomed more, and with more like understanding, and like, you know, not that he wasn't welcome, but you know what I mean? Like, that I have no idea what I'm talking about in my videos, and no one has insulted me for that. Well, most people have insulted me. You know, I haven't had any insults or anything because I'm a girl doing this. Like, I've never felt anything
because
but
they understand you do it for humor, for the joke factor of it, to see.
And I'm not like making fun of this or anything. I'm truly understanding and grasping now why this does take so much of my husband's time, because I see the rule books and the contents and how much goes into it. So it's given me a greater respect for the hobby, because I see it's not just sitting down and like what I thought from the beginning, which was, you know, pew pew, you're dead, pew pew, you're dead. So
she really thought that's how we did it.
So I mean, it's given me a respect for it, but I just couldn't not put, or we could not put our basically defense of this hobby, because it's been nothing but welcoming and amazing and great for us, and we don't want to see it become destroyed because people aren't willing to speak up for the other side and say, you know what, that may be their experience, but my experience has been wonderful, and I'm not negating theirs, I'm not downplaying theirs or saying they're lying or that it didn't happen. I'm not saying that at all. I feel horrible if that's someone's experience, and I absolutely think it shouldn't be the case. But with all the many years and the many different places we've lived and different places we have been with this hobby, I have yet to experience or see or hear anyone experience that. So it isn't fair to say that that's going to be your experience if you come in as a woman, because I think that is the exception, the very small exception.
The biggest thing to me still is the fact that I was reading today someone saying that their group, and it was a board gaming group on Facebook, I'm not going to name which one, but they said very specifically they did not support free speech in that group. And that blew my mind, because that is the single most important right that we have. The ability to freely express our ideas has led to so many developments and advancements for mankind. And I understand in the grand scope of things, board games are nothing compared to, the rest of the world. But it's my big thing. It's my hobby that
it's what he does to enjoy. He enjoys it. He has fun with it. It's like a release for him. So he doesn't want to see something that's a stress reliever to him to now be attacked and become this huge debate where there's got to be this side and that side to it. Like, it's like I said, it took me a while to realize it, but if you're going to say you support it, it's free speech or whatever, then that means all of it. And you shouldn't be afraid. Like, I do think, because we've talked about this this has been something we've talked about for a while. We've debated on whether or not we were going to cut the camera on or not, because you're almost afraid to speak against it. You're almost afraid to speak a differing opinion from the main group, because the majority.
It's not really the main group.
But it's not really the majority. Yeah, it's the louder of the ones. But my point is that we just decided that, some of you may agree, some of you may not agree, and that's fine. We're not saying anything that we're saying on this is just our opinion and our experience, and all we're doing is defending something that we have grown to love and to have such an attachment to. So it wouldn't be right for us to just sit back and let it be attacked, let it be ripped apart, and not say something from our experience.
The people that I speak to, online about gaming, and I'm getting advice or trading games or paying it forward, plethora of different people. There's been Asian guys, black guys, white guys, Hispanic guys, women,
all different countries, all different
people
sexes,
from all around
genders,
the world.
Orientations, religions.
My audience, I have found people from Scotland to Australia to New Zealand. I think I've had some fans also in Asia. I mean, Gimpy is worldwide. Yeah, it blew my mind, that I had people watching from all that different area. So when it comes to gaming, people don't care what you look like, who you are, who you're sleeping with, if you're a girl, or if you're a guy. Hell, I mean, if you ask me, I'd much rather sit down across the table from a pretty girl than a middle-aged pot-bellied guy to play a game. Who wouldn't, So women aren't going to be excluded. I mean, some of the nicest ladies I know are involved in board gaming. They do development, or they do some of their own.
There's one that we both really like. I don't watch her videos, but I have heard them. And sometimes he used to watch them to go to sleep, because she has the most amazing, beautiful,
soothing voice.
Perfect voice. It is so soothing and calming. So if we're in an argument, turn her on. Let's listen to her talk about a game today, and it just instantly puts you in a good mood. So I mean,
she's awesome.
She is, but it just doesn't matter. This community that we have been exposed to, and where we've been exposed to it at, has been nothing but nice and welcoming and respectful. They don't say women aren't allowed. They don't say this gender or this orientation or religion or color or race. It doesn't matter. It is literally colorblind and religion blind and sex blind and whatever blind. No, it doesn't matter. So when it starts to come in and become an issue and cause a divide in it, that's when we feel like, as people who are passionate about it, just step in and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not let this consume and take over what this hobby is about to begin with, because in my opinion and what I've seen, this hobby is for a lot of men and women who enjoy history and who enjoy, you know, things that are historically based or roughly historically based, and they get to kind of relive it and get to be a part of it. And so to see it be ripped down by something that is unnecessary in this specific case, it's just sad. And we didn't want to see that happen without at least speaking our opinion and defending it.
And I would like to see all politics just stay completely out of gaming, but I understand that's going to happen. So, you know, like she's saying, let's take and stand up for our hobby. Don't let people make generalizations, wild generalizations, claiming that the men are misogynistic or that they're exclusionary towards women or different races or that they have hate-filled groups. When people start doing that, tell them no.
And I
don't buy it. Or if you have a specific incident that's happened, let us know and we'll take in and fight it together.
That's what I was going to say. If that has happened, I guarantee you if there was a gaming store that turned away someone based on their race or their sex or whatever, it would spread and people wouldn't support that because that's not what this hobby stands for.
Well, I told you, the only one that I've seen so far about a gaming store turning someone away was because they didn't like the comic books that the person wanted to purchase. They didn't like the politics of the comic book developer or publisher, so they turned away the
they
customers.
Ended up going bankrupt or something, though, or
yeah, but their business was closing down.
That's the thing. If there's a group or a tournament or a store that is doing that and is turning someone away, obviously that is wrong. So yeah, don't let that happen and fix it and get rid of that person because more than likely it's a single person that's the problem and not the entire hobby. Yeah. So that's what we're saying. I am fully saying if you're a woman watching this, if you have been harassed, if someone's messed with you or made you feel uncomfortable, then report it. Let it be known and get it resolved. Don't let it turn you away from this hobby as a whole because I would hate to see this hobby become something that women are afraid to get into or or feel that they're being pushed away from because it is the complete opposite of that. And if someone's being harassed or you see it or you're being harassed, then do something to stop it. But let's keep it for what it is. This is supposed to be fun and entertaining and a hobby for people.
Yeah. It's like the convention we're going to. I know, and the reason I'm as comfortable going as I am is I know if anyone actually did try to bother you or come harass you for whatever purpose, I know if I wasn't there, one of the other guys would defend you.
Remember, I'm the one who said that to you. I said if Gimpy stepped out to go to the restroom or to go take care of something and I was in there alone and someone approached me, and I've never talked to these guys other than maybe a few comments on Facebook or on YouTube. I don't know these people's names. I've never met them in my life, and neither has he. He hasn't met them in person. So for us to say with confidence that if I was in a room and he was not able to defend me and there was a situation that arose, whatever it may be, that I know someone in that room would step up and defend me, and I would be taken care of. And that takes a lot for my husband to feel that way about trusting someone else, basically with his family, with me and the kids. So for him to say that he feels confident that we're going to be taken care of, and if he has to step away for something, he knows that someone's going to have eyes on us to protect us if it's needed, shows what kind of hobby this is. And the people we have come in direct contact with are absolutely amazing and nothing short of just, incredible.
Very
There's
welcoming.
no words. There really are no words. And it doesn't mean that there's not, banter. We banter on our videos and stuff. So it's not like everything is PC, but just keep the politics out of it. Just have fun. Keep it for what it is. Don't let someone come in who doesn't really care about this hobby and rip it to shreds and destroy it for everyone else, because you guys and my husband have put too much time and energy and money. Yeah, I know the cost. I go to UPS to ship some of these for him, and I swear to you, every time they say, is the value of this game over $100? And I will say no, and they'll say, well, I just have to check. I didn't figure it was. And I always say, you would be shocked at the cost of some of these games. So it's far too much of that to have it be destroyed by, just vague or broad, whatever.
Generalizations.
Yeah, generalizations. We don't want to see that happen. So don't just sit by and let someone dog an entire group of people if it's not true. You know what I mean? It's such a delicate situation because you don't want to sit there and say, no, you're a liar, because they're not. Like, we don't know if that's their experience. That is awful. And absolutely, I would want the pigs behind it to be outed for making a woman feel that way or making anybody feel that way. It doesn't even matter if it's a man or a woman or whatever. People should just be nice to people, but that isn't going to happen. You're going to have jerks.
Yeah, it's still an unfortunate truth, though, that people lie. It's happened countless times that someone has claimed X, Y, or Z has happened to them, and it's come out later that they either fabricated it or someone else did it.
And sometimes these lies can ruin people's entire lives when you get to like bigger legal issues. So we just don't want to see something similar. And whether it did happen or didn't happen, that's not the issue. What we're saying is just keep it out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't make this be a hobby of issues when it's never been. It's never been that way.
And if there's a specific person that causes an issue,
then
absolutely report it to the police
and
put them on blast.
I promise you, the guys and the girls who I have known or spoken with or heard about in this hobby will make sure that that person no longer is able to hurt people or objectify them or whatever it is. So
I've seen some scam artists. There's been some people who have
and there's jerks and there's
dirty stuff, like some of the board game groups, you can buy, sell, or trade. And there's been a few who have scammed people out of games using PayPal scams. And
that's going to happen. But that would be like you taking in that group and saying, this whole group is a scam because one person scammed you. So don't let that happen. It doesn't mean that that person didn't scam people.
Yeah.
But
that
everyone
one person needs to be driven out.
Yeah.
But you can't generalize the whole buy, sell, trade group because one person scammed you.
Yeah.
The majority are good people.
We could go on and on about it all night. We'll wrap this up, but we just were talking about it and figured, why not, if we have a platform, however big or small it is, to defend something that we truly do care about, even if it is something as minuscule as wargaming. It's something that we both care about. I mean, I genuinely have grown to love this because I see how much my husband loves it, and so to see something bothering him so bad because people are trying to paint him, and not personally him. It's not like anyone's come out and said, Gimpy did this to me. But when you say this group, wargaming, is very sexist in this and this and this, it's just not, it's not right, because it isn't that way in my experience.
Yeah. So. I mean, everyone's welcoming. But yeah, that's it. We just wanted to rant at you guys for a little bit. Sorry, we've been bitching about it for a little while.
No, we just wanted to voice our opinion. Like I said at the beginning, you can agree, you can disagree, you can comment whatever if you agree or disagree. Keep it nice. I mean, you don't have to be insulting. That's another thing I want to speak on really quickly, is that when you bring these issues into anything, it becomes this divide, because it's never just a conversation, it's always an argument. So if you don't agree with us, that's fine. Happy to have a cordial adult conversation in the comments about it.
Talk to anybody about it.
We are open. We hear other sides all the time. We're not those people who shut down the other side. We're very open and think that that's how you reach agreements, and that's how you reach common ground and move forward, is by having conversations and reaching common ground. So
the big thing for me, like I said at the beginning of this, was seeing a moderator openly say,
I don't support free speech.
Yeah, no free speech in this group and no asking questions. Basically, you had to take what was said at face value and look how horrible it is. Regardless of whether or not it happened. That's if
it happened, we agree that it's horrible. We don't say we don't support whatever it was that had happened in that instance. His main thing was that statement, I don't support free speech.
It's like, no, that needs to stay out of this hobby. You always support free speech. People died for that.
And we need to stand up as people in a hobby, no matter how silly it may seem. Like, oh, it's just board games. Like, but if it's happening there, it's a slippery slope. So just nip it in the bud now and say, you know what, we're not going to have any of this talk here. As long as you're not being, a jerk, or you're not being insulting and threatening to someone, then conversations are okay, even if they have differing opinions. All right. That's what makes the world go round.
We're going to chop it here, but if you guys liked listening to us just bitch about this for a little while, let us know, and we'll do more discussions about different issues in gaming and what's going on. But if not, I guess this thing won't get any views, and then it won't matter, and we'll know not to do it again. All right, that's going to be it for us. You guys take care. We'll see you in the next one.